Welcome to Roadshow's AutoComplete, your weekly roundup of the biggest news in the automotive world. This week, we have news on Tesla's liquid-cooled charger connectors, seized African supercars, and GM's continued fight with the UAW. But first, let's start with BMW's Toyota recall. Usually, when you hear that a brand new car is being recalled, that kind of makes sense. I mean, something that's never existed before is bound to have a few teething issues, right? Only, when you see that a recall has been issued, you kind of expect that it's going to be issued by the company whose badge is on the hood. Well, that's not the case with this 7-car recall by BMW for the Toyota Supra. Toyota's new Super Coupe is being recalled by the Germans over concerns that bad welds would make the car unsafe. Those 7 cars' owners can look forward to getting a brand new car though, so that's cool, but still, welcome to a brave new world. We've known when to expect the Corvette C8 Convertible for a while now, and while we've seen static photos of it previously, its retractable hardtop design still managed to impress when in motion. It makes the comparatively bargain-priced Corvette seem like more of a contender to the exotic drop tops from exotic companies building cars in exotic places. The best part is that the Vert version Vet isn't wildly more expensive than the regular old coupe/Targa version. And while the Corvette Convertible wasn't a surprise, the debut of the new C8R race car sure as hell was. The C8R is a bulgier and wingier version of the road-based Corvette C8, but it's still very much a Corvette at heart. We're also digging its mostly silver debut livery. We're told that it'll have its inaugural run at Daytona in January. You know what company is down near the bottom of our list of most likely to electrify its lineup? Yeah, Maserati. But apparently the company is drunk off the success of its Ghibli model, having just sold its 100,000th version, and it's now working on rolling out at least 8 plug-in hybrid models in the next 3 or 4 years. Wild, right? Oh, and it's also planning on releasing the long-awaited Alfieri Sports Coupe. But wait, as they say, there's more. Ferrari's slightly less fancy cousin is also committing into getting into the race for autonomy, though we'd expect that's a little further off than the early 2020s. We'll just have to see. Everybody knows by now that Christian von Koenigsegg is a Swedish maniac who builds some of the world's most extreme cars, but what they might not know is that he's also interested in making cars that advance technology in ways other than hot, nasty, badass speed. Enter the Regera, which debuted back in 2015. The oddball supercar uses a twin-turbo V8 and a 3-motor hybrid system to drive the vehicle without a transmission. And as a testament to just how fast hybrids can be, Koenigsegg just set a new 0 to 400 to 0 kilometers per hour records with the Regera. It made the run in just 31.49 seconds. For those of you who don't speak metric, 400 kilometers per hour is just under 250 miles per hour. The SEC recently concluded an investigation into some hinky sales reporting practices by Fiat Chrysler and determined that there was something rotten in Auburn Hills. Specifically, they found that there had been a long-term and widespread practice of falsifying sales documents to make it look like there had been consistent month-to-month sales growth. Not really a good look, right? But in the end, it worked out okay for FCA because the SEC said if it paid a $40 million fine, and promised to never, ever, ever do that again, it could skate by with no admission of wrongdoing. $40 million is a good-sized chunk of change, but FCA's statement on the matter said that it would not impact its bottom line. Despite what crazy old Uncle Elon would have you believe, Tesla, like everybody else, is still likely quite a ways from true, commercially viable autonomous driving. And if word around the schoolyard is true, a possible purchase of machine learning startup DeepScale would back that up. Still, machine learning is a critical part of the whole self-driving equation, so if it did indeed buy DeepScale, reports aren't totally confirmed on that yet, then it would be a huge leg up for the big T. GM and the UAW are still at each other's throats, and their disagreements, which have led to a strike that's now entering its 3rd week, don't appear to be ending anytime soon. Specifically, the UAW shot down GM's most recent proposal. GM's representatives have called that proposal comprehensive, but apparently it wasn't comprehensive enough, and now the work stoppage by the UAW has started to affect GM's operations in Mexico. The last strike by the UAW against GM that went longer than 2 days happened in 1998, and that went for nearly 2 months. When most people think about railroads these days, it's probably because they're playing Monopoly. But for big businesses like car companies, dealing with railroads like BNSF, CSX, Norfolk Southern, and Union Pacific is an expensive fact of life because, well, it's still one of the cheapest ways to get cars from one side of America to the other. Still, cheapest doesn't mean that it's cheap. See, back in the early aughts, those 4 railroad companies tacked some fairly hellacious fuel surcharges onto the shipping bills for its clients. 2 of which were sister companies Hyundai and Kia. These fuel surcharges ended up exceeding the actual cost of fuel by $6 billion over 4 years. Needless to say, Hyundai and Kia found out and were super pissed. Now they're suing the railroads for triple the amount of the fees that they paid. This could be a huge hit to the American rail industry if it goes through. Electrify America is becoming more of a household name for people that own EVs because its charging network is one of the fastest growing networks in the US. But folks from the VW-backed charging company aren't content to just charge your car when you're on the go. Nope, they want to charge it for you at home too. To that end, the company announced that it's going to start offering a $499 Level 2 charger designed for home use. This charger is weather sealed, so it can be mounted outside your garage, and it comes with a 24-foot charge cable. It's also got Wi-Fi, because of course it does. So you can see how your vehicle's doing via the Electrify America app. Ah, sweet, sweet convenience. As electric vehicle charging speeds go up, so does current, and current means heat. Keeping a charging cable cool when there are hundreds of kilowatts going through it is becoming increasingly important, so Tesla, for its V3 supercharger, went with liquid-cooled charging cables. Still, the Big T thinks it can do one better than that and has been investigating using liquid to cool the charger connector too. And it may have found a solution because it recently filed a patent application for the idea. Obviously, making sure that everything stays clean and dry is important for safety here, so we'll be super curious to see if this actually makes it into production. Equatorial Guinea is a little country sandwiched between Gabon and Cameroon on Africa's west coast. And against all odds, it's making automotive news headlines. But surprise, it's not for a good reason. See, its vice president got caught up in a massive money laundering scheme, and as part of that investigation, his wild-ass collection of supercars was seized and subsequently auctioned off. Among the cars taken were a Lamborghini Veneno Roadster, an Aston Martin 177, and a Koenigsegg 1-1. Oh, and they were all auctioned off for charity. That's it for AutoComplete this week. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon to stay notified of all new videos on Roadshow, and we will see you again next week.